One of the things you tend to miss when you're on a keto diet is cake. Now, there are different kinds of cakes you can make on a keto diet, and you see it all the time. Often you'll see them tell you, well, you can have a slice of angel food cake. Well, angel food cake, as a standard thing, doesn't have a lot of carbs, but it does have sugar in it and it has flour in it. And so that can actually add some carbs to your diet. I thought maybe I'm going to try to make an angel food cake that's keto friendly. Instead of sugar, I'm using xylitol, and instead of flour, I'm using a combination of almond flour and coconut flour. We'll go ahead and we'll make a nice angel food cake that per slice has about 2 grams of carbohydrates total. We'll see how it tastes, and it's great if you need a little dessert. You want some berries and some whipped cream on it, you can do that, and you can have a really nice angel food cake. Slice it up into slices, freeze them individually in the freezer, pull one out when you need it, and you've got yourself a nice slice of cake with some berries and dessert. You can also use it for French toast. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So let's start. Okay, with regular angel food cake, you want to use superfine sugar, because one of the things you do is you make a meringue. You don't want to deflate the meringue with the sugar and the flour. So you use superfine sugar. Because we're not using sugar, we're using xylitol, we want to create superfine xylitol to put it in a food processor and whirl it around a little bit to make it a superfine xylitol. We're going to start out with about a cup of xylitol, dump it in the food processor, whirl it around and make it superfine. Okay, you want to spin it around for about 45 seconds to a minute until it gets to the right consistency. Now you take your egg whites. What we've got here are the whites of 12 eggs. That works out to about somewhere between 3/4 of a cup of whites and 1 cup of white. You want to go ahead and you want to beat them until they're stiff but not too stiff. And I'll show you how that is. It's going to take you about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, now these aren't whipped nearly enough, but they're enough to where you want to put in the cream of tartar. The cream of tartar acts as a stabilizer. You want 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, and that's going to act to stabilize the egg whites and help them get a little bit stiffer. Now beat that in until your peaks are stiff. These are not stiff. If you look when you pull them out, they fall over a little bit. That's the time to add the sugar, or in this case, the xylitol. Sprinkle it in over the whole thing. And now beat it until it's stiff. By the way, with egg whites, you want them to be room temperature when you beat them in order for them to get stiff. With whipping cream, you want everything to be really cold, but here room temperature helps you beat them in and get it stiff. Now with regular angel food cake, you use cake flour in there because it's a light, fine flour and it has no gluten. Here we're using almond flour and coconut flour. We use 3/4 of a cup of almond flour, 1/4 of a cup of coconut flour. Neither of them has any gluten in it, so you don't have to worry about that, but I do want them to be fine, so I'm going to process them in the food processor as well for about 45 seconds to a minute. Alright, the flour is made finer. Now you want to add it in a little bit at a time into the egg whites. Don't add it all at once, and then you want to fold it in. And to fold it, you put your spatula in the center, move it up along the sides. What you're trying to do here is to mix it in without deflating the egg whites. Let's put the rest of it in. And let's move it the rest of the way. going to take this, you're going to put it into a tube pan here. If you have a bundt pan, you can use that. We have a pan that's special for angel food cakes, as you'll see later, because it has these little feet on the top. Also, it's non-stick. You don't want it to be sticky because you want the batter to cling to the sides and move up along the sides of the pan. Okay, that's it. And now you're going to want to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. Look, this is a little light. We're going to leave it in 5 more minutes. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. This is now done. Now, some people suggest you use a toothpick to test it. That's not really good because sometimes the toothpick will slide in between the bubbles, and even when it's not done, it'll look done. You want to just look at the color and use the color. The thing is, because this is a foam, it will deflate. Regular angel food cakes deflate all the time. So you want to go ahead and turn it upside down and let it cool upside down. That way the cake is hanging, and that way it doesn't deflate. Now, if you're using a non-stick pan and you do it this way, it's going to fall right out of the pan. So you don't want that to happen. You want it to be clinging to the sides right now. And then once it cools, we'll take it out and I'll show you how you can go ahead and separate it. All right, it's been about an hour. The cake's cool. Now it's time to unmold it. You want to take a knife and slide it along the edge here to loosen it up. Okay, turned upside down. Oh, looks like I don't need to. Okay, here we go. Comes right out. Yeah. There it comes right off onto the plate. Okay, so this is a nice little piece of angel food cake. I whipped up some cream with a little xylitol, and so I have xylitol whipped cream, sugar-free cake, sugar-free whipped cream, some berries, really good.